Day two of the MLB playoffs. Yesterday, I got thrown for a loop. I thought I was going to be solo, and then I came in here, and Bobby was already getting in there. And unfortunately, I had a chance to run another build and focus a little more on the lineup, and ended up getting second in the 555 there on DraftKings, and also ended up cashing in the FanDuel monster. So we'll take a look at that, I guess, for a minute, and then we'll just get on to today. We'll talk about the plays, then we'll do kind of an updated SaberSim build. Just again, usual, some announcements. We have, we got NFL Showdown tomorrow. We have MMA is back on Saturday. Have MMA betting as well. We got the NFL obviously on Sunday as well. NASCAR, all kinds of stuff going on. I actually have to cut this short at about 2:30 because I have to do my lineups for the UCL for the soccer today. I have to leave myself at least a half an hour for that. But for now, let's first, I guess just as a matter of, I'll say whatever, but I'll just show you the lineup from yesterday that did well. It just kind of, it's an interesting result because this is the ultimate cheat slate, only 133 points, good enough for second. And it's always satisfying, like beating these guys with 7 lineups. 7, 3, 5. I mean, God knows how many these guys actually played. We got in with our 1. And then what was also kind of funny was that of the 8 eligible pitchers, the guy we took had the 8th best result with 3 fantasy points. And you combine that with a big old 0 over here, no matter, still able to get there. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, oh no, it wouldn't have mattered. I was gonna say if Christian Walker's home run came in, we would have won. No, we got the max out of what we were doing, and yeah, which is really, really good. Couldn't be happier. So today we're going to talk about this slate, which again the same teams, but different pitchers. And the other thing I have to stress is, again, with these staggered start times, always check back for lineup changes and always late swap. And this could be a theoretical discussion for another time, but if you do have the ability to late swap and you have the time, it's always better to change your lineups based on the information from the previous games. And people could try to argue that with me, but you'd be wrong. The only thing that is the argument is that you might not know exactly how to swap into what you want to do next. But by definition, if you have information from the first games that like people scored certain amounts, there's no possible way, I don't think, that your lineups as they were originally scheduled should be the same. You should be making some adjustment based on what happened earlier. Now, again, it's very difficult to say what that adjustment is, but it's probably a good idea if you do have the time to just run a late swap anytime that there's information that's processed in the past, because those ostensibly should impact what types of lineups you want to play in the future. So anyway, that's my half theoretical discussion going in. All right, let's I guess move on to the slate for today. As I mentioned, I do have to deal with these soccer things, but I'll do that like at 12:30. Actually, 1:30, 2:30. But the other thing is that I did a golf video, and that's going to get loaded, and I did the Survivor Pool video, and that's going to get loaded. All that's going to get loaded after we do this. I just haven't had time at all. So you have same players, but you have different pitchers. So you have Peralta, Garrett, Gowan, Berrios, Eovaldi. As you can see, I mean, just plenty of reasons to go for any of them if you want to know the truth. When you look at my sheets first, and then we're going to just run builds because, quite honestly, I mean that's what's been working for me. So may as well just do it. You see Aaron Nola is probably the mispriced guy. But he's 1,000 less than Peralta. That certainly doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. So he's looking like he's going to be the highest owned, about 55%. Then you have Peralta next, and I do see, you know, of note is a decent sized drop in ownership after Peralta. So guys like Eflin, Berrios, Sonny Gray, and all these guys are pretty reasonable. Gowan only 14%. I mean, that's boy, oh boy, that seems almost disrespectful. But Eovaldi, I mean, he could bring it, man. He could bring some heat. And is Garrett really a bad play at 7% ownership? I have to believe that playing these top two pitchers is probably the wrong idea in GPPs today. We'll let Saberson kind of help us with this. Let's take a look at the stacks again. This is the way I have them listed. But again, I mean, I'm really just not as good as when you have Saberson help me, if you want to know the truth. So here I have Philadelphia and Minnesota, top two with respect to value. And they're the highest owned, so nothing particularly earth-shattering there. And then if you list it by raw points, Philly number one again, and then Tampa, Minnesota underneath. And Miami at probably the lowest ownership. Miami and Texas, that's almost really what I want to do in these slates. They look so balanced. I mean, all these teams, I mean, I don't know. If I instinctively, I would literally take the lowest owned pitchers and the lowest owned hitters. Lowest owned stacks, that being, I guess, Arizona and Texas. And pitching wise, maybe Gallen and the Eovaldi from the opposite sides. Obviously, you can't pair them all together like that. But that would be my instinct, is that, you know, there's just such balance in all these plays today that depending on what types of contests you're in, that should really govern how much risk you take with respect to, you know, pivoting off the quote unquote top plays. So with that said, let's do it. Let's go into SaberSim and let's do exactly that. Let's build lineups specific to the contest we're in. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to put the projections in. And again, this is as of now. You know, as lineups come out for later games, this could all change. Well, not all of it, but at least the stuff that we're putting in now. So we're putting on our projections, our ownerships, or whatever it is. And then we're just going to build our lineups. And the first thing we're going to do, we're going to build 50. Because I'm playing, again, 50 lineups in that lottery, the relay throw. So the most I want to have access to is 50. So what it's doing, it's building, say, 5,000 lineups. But, you know, it's going to save the top 50. And what I already did, just to save some time, is I put the contest sim settings in for relay throw, the walk-off home run, which is the other, you know, that's the big one that I'm playing again. And just to show you again what I did, I'm comparing this one to the flagship MME. I put the contest size in, right? Makes sense. Walk-off home run. It's going to be high-stakes MME, less entrance. And then in the battery, single entry, even less entries, less to first, and we'll compare that to the high-stakes single entry. So these settings are in good shape. So let's first take a look at just overall lineups before we go and compare these to the contest sims. Let's take a look. So if I didn't do anything, I would end up with, looks to be, well, first of all, as far as exposure goes, yeah, a bunch of 5.2s and 5.3s and 5.0s. And I'd be getting about 86% Arizona. Go back to the well again. And that's when you do not, that's not factoring in, you know, what contest you're in necessarily. I would change that to 2 uniques, just so to reduce risk. And then if you looked at the main pitchers that I'd be getting, just the general SaberSim build, I would be getting 70% Berrios and then Gowan and Garrett, which makes some sense, right? Based on what I just said before, is that you're getting the lowest owned of the pitchers. As a matter of fact, I mean, Nola is just nowhere to be found in these builds. So now let's run the contest simulations, and then we'll re-rank these lineups based on the actual contest that we want to play. But overall, I kind of like where we're headed here right now. You know, it matched my instinct, the idea that you don't want to pay for chalk on this slate, and that goes from pitching straight to hitting. So if I wanted to play like I said, look at this Arizona Toronto, with Toronto, you know, and Arizona pitching is probably one of the lower owned approaches you can take. And it matches. I mean, it looks really, really good. So let's like rank these by, we just did the contest simulations. We'll rank these first by the relay throw. And here it actually moves things a little differently. Now it gives you like all kinds of leverage. Like it's playing Miami, like against Nola, which is very interesting. Now this is specifically for the relay throw. When you look at this, it's giving you 58% Miami and then 52% Philadelphia. And it's still giving you a decent amount of Arizona, but having so much exposure to Miami might not sit well with you, you know, because Nola is a good pitcher, obviously. And going into that Hornets nest in Philadelphia, it seems weird, but, you know, in the relay throw on a 4-game slate, these are the things that you probably are going to want to do, okay? So you can take your pick on which of these things to go after. You could, for example, you could play 25 of the first build and 25 of this build, and that makes some sense. Because I actually like that first build with respect to, you know, how different it is. So what I think I'm going to do is let's do this. Let's actually do that. Let's take 25 lineups from this kind of like kooky build. It's Philadelphia and Miami. And we're not going to use the entry editor for this. We're just going to save this to here. And then I'm going to go back to that that Sabre score build that we had before, where we had the Arizonas and the Torontos. And we'll take 25 lineups from them. So we'll play 25 of each of those builds. So you could definitely do that. That's legal. That is not against the rules. So the first thing I'm going to do, let's take care of the lottery first. So we're going to do this. Then we're going to go edit entries. And we're going to, oh, I forgot to play the ball 4, I guess. Okay, so we're going to save those. So now the relay throw, the lottery has been taken care of. So let's put that in. I kind of like that combination of approaches. And again, there's no answer. You know what I mean? I'm learning every day, just like everybody else is. Regardless of what people will tell you, nobody knows for sure what the best approach is. Okay, let's go back to the contest sim, which we did already. And now let's sort by the walk-off. And we do the walk-off. Yeah, Philly, Arizona, Nola, Berrios, a little less, you know, a little less off the board, which makes sense for that tournament. Now, I don't want to mess with this. Let's yeah, let's try this. So what if we did, let's save this one just to the walk-off. Boom. Okay. Let's now go to yeah, but I hope it doesn't save the same lineups that I had before. But just to be safe, what we're going to do is we're going to do this manually. We'll just save this one to that same entry file there. We'll edit entries. This is definitely not the most efficient way to make use of this, but I just don't want to risk me not doing it the right way. So let's save that to there, save our walk-off. And the other thing I'm not the slightest bit worried about anymore, it takes a long time. I'm not worried about, you know, what happens if I put something in the walk-off and then I didn't put it in the relay throw and it scores a lot of points and it would have won both. I'm literally not worried about that at all. Like serenity now. Now let's go and do the battery ROI. Oh, okay, that's an interesting one. So let's, I like that actually. So let's save that one. That's all. I don't need all 5,000 of them. Okay, so let's just save this one. And again, this is not the fastest way to do it. I mean, I probably should use the entry editor, but I kind of like the idea that in one lineup of kind of a quote-unquote bigger buy-ins, I have NOLA, and the other one I have Miami. I don't know. I kind of think that's healthy. Okay, we're going to upload this, and we should be good now. Now, I don't care too much about like exposure necessarily because I've already kind of tailored everything to what it is. So, but I do have Berrios as my highest owned pitcher overall, and then mostly Arizona's or whatever. But let's just see what my overall pitching exposure is. Actually, what happened to Berrios? Oh, it's in game set. Well, it would be Berrios. Oh, because they have him as a relief pitcher. I mean, that's like torture. So Berrios, and then Berrios listed as a relief pitcher. That's pretty good. And then Gallen, and then Eovaldi. I like it. Okay. And then while NOLA, I have a lot in entry fees, not so much in the relay throw. So I kind of like this. Let's do FanDuel. First, let's take a look at it again manually. What's this? So let's go to FanDuel. Actually, let's do the manual way first. Take a look. So FanDuel, it looks like a complete misprice here. NOLA less than both these guys. So he's going to be like really popular. You know, if I was doing this by hand building, I couldn't imagine not playing NOLA given these prices. His gap is so wide. And then with respect to the stats, let's see what I would do. And again, I'm only playing the FanDuel monster over there against the one lineup. Well, oh, there it is. Here's the test. The test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System. And there it is. Hope everybody's enjoying that. Very nice. As far as stacks go, it would be Philly and then either, well, Philly first, and then you could kind of screw around. So let's take a look and see what I'm getting SaberSim with SaberSim. And I think it's, again, I think I've been building better lineups with my few tweaks and then using SaberSim as well. So let's get back in there. Upload, and we're only playing the one lineup. Let's go through the same process. And then again, we're going to have to change all those when like the lineups come out for the later games probably, but especially that Philly game, that's not for like 100 hours. So let's just build. You only need to build like 200 lineups because you know what, we're not really, we're only playing one. So let's just see what this gives us. I imagine it's going to be what I said. NOLA, Philly, and something else. Well, let's see. Maybe NOLA's going to be his ownership will be so high that they'll not want me to play him, but I doubt it. I mean, he has such a big projection edge over everybody else that I don't think that's going to matter. Let's see. No, they give me Garrett. So interesting. But let's do the right thing. Let's do contest sim settings. Add contest sim. It's only going to be like 200 people in the monster. And then we'll save this. We'll call it monster. Save settings. Run contest sim. That's very interesting, though, that they want me to play Garrett. My top lineup there. But I like it. I like that Saber Sim's in that kind of mood to be a little bit contrarian. Okay, so Monster, ROI. Yeah, so it's Nola and these dudes. That's kind of what I figured. So let's do that. We'll put that in. We can use the entry editor for that, I suppose. So we'll download this from FanDuel. Upload. Oh, well, I have other stuff to. Oh, I am playing MME. Ooh. Okay, I was unaware of that. All right, so let's download this. Thank God I realized that. Let's put these up over here. Okay, interesting. Okay, so let's we're gonna save this one to the just to this one for now. Contests. Ooh, that's very interesting. So so now we do have to actually build 50 lineups. So we have to start over. Sorry about that. So we're going to play 50 lineups and build settings. We're going to have to build some more lineups. We have to build, you know, maybe not 5,000, but 2,500 at least. And rebuild lineups. The other thing I have to do is I have to post on SaberSim that I'm playing that, because last thing I want is to hit something and then someone not have it. So we're going to create package. Just doing this on the other page. FanDuel MME squeeze. There are 50 lineups. And then 450. That's much cost. 3 p.m. 36 percentile. FanDuel, and then screen name. Cookies are yummy. 2%. Okay, and we will post that. Okay. So now we will change. We have to add a contest sim setting. Add contest sim. We're going to call this the squeeze, and this has a lot more people in it. Can't forget to do my soccer squeeze. And that's going to be how many people are in the squeeze. MLB squeeze is going to be, oh, they already, we just have to guess because that tournament is now closed technically. So we're going to call it, I don't know, 10,000 people, I guess, in the squeeze. We're asking for it, but it is what it is. And one other thing that's different is that this should not have been flagship MME. This should have been high stakes MME. Ooh, so these are different. Save this. We're going to have to rerun all of our contest sims. But it's fine. This is the process. We're learning. Yeah, I don't mind if something wins if I didn't play it, but if something comes in that I would have had if I just spent an extra 30 seconds on the correct process, that would bother me. So we're going to make sure we do this. All right, so first we're going to do the lottery first. So we're going to put in squeeze, ROI, min uniques 2, and what we're getting, by the way, in that is like 50% Miami, which again makes total sense because of how popular NOLA is going to be. And then we're going to go monster, ROI, only one lineup. Yeah, and it no longer wants me to play the NOLA lineup, so we will enter that into here. One thing I wanted see if I did. Hold on a minute. Hang on. Because I think I might have screwed something up. We're going to try one more time. Build one. Just want to make sure that I actually downloaded the lineups, because I could have messed something up. I'll show you. Let's see, Monster. No, the builds are there. Very nice. Now we will save this, and with any luck, it will have worked. And I will check to see if there's questions, then I will leave, because I do have to do my soccer. And that's like its own other nightmare I can't really even get into. All right, so FanDuel, boom. And that all works. And then we should be good to go. Are there any questions here? I guess there are not. So we got there into 2:30. I'll be updating projections throughout the day if I have time, especially for the later games. And that should be it. I did a did a golf video that's going up soon. I did a Survivor video that's going up soon. But all that has to wait until I finish the soccer.